So the first thing that we're going to do is get our exercises into the app. And we're just going to display a page with all of our exercises on it as kind of a exercise library. So to do that, we're going to go to Custom Pages, click Add New Page, and then we're going to click on the Page Builder. So we're going to call this our exercise library. We are going to add a block, and we're going to add a WordPress post list block. So we want it to be card display, we want it to be infinite scroll, we're not going to do comments, and we are going to customize the posts that are displayed. So by default, this will actually just show your WordPress posts, but we don't want the posts to be displayed, we want exercises to be displayed, which is a custom taxonomy, or excuse me, a custom post type. So to handle custom post types, not all custom post types are in the WP API. So we can actually put our post type in here and it might work and it might not. So the reason why is because most custom post types are not actually in the WP API by default. So I will show you in custom post type UI, show in REST API is true. So you're probably not using custom post type UI. If you look up custom post type in our documentation and click on this first one, you see how to add API support for custom post types. So we actually have an example with the events calendar plugin, and the code looks something like this. We add the action, init action, and then we add this show in REST equals true to our custom post types. So all you have to do is copy and paste this, change the name of the post type. So if that's event or exercises or whatever it is, and then that will actually add the post type to your WP API. So it's in our documentation. There's a video. If this is confusing for you at all, we have, it kind of explains it here. But just keep that in mind when you're adding in a custom post type. So in my case, I have it all working and ready to go. So we're going to put the full endpoint to the custom post type. Everything is WP your website /WP/WP/v2, and mine is going to be exercises. Yours is going to be different, obviously, and some actually have a completely custom endpoint. So it might be, for example, like learn lessons or something like that. In my case, this is what it is. So I'm going to also add a category filter, and I want to choose my custom taxonomy. So again, the custom taxonomy is in my custom post type. There are exercise categories, which would be like cardio, strength, stretching, yoga, things like that. And these are similar, they're custom taxonomies because they are not just normal post categories or tags. So post categories and tags are just kind of the base default. Anything on top of that would be custom taxonomy. And I'm going to go ahead and choose exercise categories. So I definitely want to add this to my menu. And then I want to add an icon. You can choose any icon you want. In my case, I'm just going to add a list. We're not going to worry about these advanced options right now. We're just going to go ahead and save that. So once your app refreshes, you should see the new menu item pop up here and show in your tab menu. If we click on that, we should see our exercises here. And this is going to be just all of our exercises, and then we can also filter, because we added our custom taxonomy filter, we can filter by custom taxonomy. And then we can click into those and we can see some of these are protected and some of these are not. So the next thing that we want to do is maybe make this page a little bit more interesting. So let's go back to the exercise library page. And what I'm going to do is click this plus button up here, which is going to add a block before the WordPress post list. And then I want to add just a header with like an image here. So to do that, I can add in my little bit of HTML here, and then I can also add in an image tag. And what I want to do here is grab an image from my website. So I've already uploaded a few here, and let's say I want to use this image here. I'm going to grab the URL, and I'm just going to put in an image tag with that URL there. And I can give it a class so that I can style it in case I don't like the way that it turned out. So let's go ahead and update and see how that turns out here. Okay, so we've got an image up there, we've got a title. It's looking okay, but I kind of want to do a little bit more than that. I want to make it actually go to the edges of the, not have this margin around the sides. And to do that, I can go to the Design tab, and I'm gonna type in my class that I just made. And what I'm gonna have to do is give it some negative margins. And so to do that, I can say margin. I want the top to be negative 15 pixels, right to be negative 15 pixels. The bottom, I still want to have a margin on it. And then I want the right side to have, the left side to be negative 15 pixels. I also need to make the image wider because now it's just kind of scooted it over. So I'm going to make the max width, instead of, it's defaults at 100%, so I'm going to make it 110%, which is going to push it over a little bit. Or you might need to go a little bit more than that, depending on the width of the screen, how everything's looking. Might need to play with that value a little bit. But that's looking pretty good there. It's going full width now, and I like that a little bit better. So we can also use this header image class now on any other pages we decide to do the same thing on, and it'll automatically work the same way. So the next thing that we want to do here is create a couple of pages that are going to be display the custom taxonomy, which is the exercise category. So for example, we want a page that is going to display only the strength category or only the cardio category. And that way I can let my app users just link directly to those pages, and they won't have to use a filter or anything just in case that's confusing. So I'm going to create a new page builder page. I'm going to call this cardio. And then I'm going to add another WordPress post list block. We're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to customize the post displayed, and it's going to be the same URL that we used before. So I'm just going to copy this. It's going to be WP-JSON, WP v2 exercises. And then the way that you add a custom taxonomy would be the slug, exercise, category, and then you do equals, and then you put the ID. So to find the ID, we are going to go to our exercises and go to exercise categories. And by the way, if you don't know how to get that part where I said exercise category, what you can do is click on your custom taxonomy, and then I'm going to bring this down a little bit. There's actually in the URL bar, it'll tell you what the taxonomy is. The taxonomy is exercise categories, so I actually put it in wrong. I need an S. I need plural, exercise categories. And then if you click on one of these, such as cardio, it's going to tell you the ID of it. So it says tag ID is 74. And then what we're going to do is go back and say 74. And we're not going to add a filter or anything. I'm going to add it to my menu here. This is actually going to be hidden, and I'm going to show you why in a second. But what I'm going to do is add a custom page class of hide. I don't actually want to show this in my menu. So I'm going to save this. So what we're going to do is link to this page from our home page, but we don't want to actually show it in our tab bar because that's going to take up too much space there. So, you know what, maybe I did this wrong. Check cardio. Oh, okay, I think I did this wrong. So you need, under extra classes, it needs to be hide. I think I was supposed to check a box there instead of add that class like I did. So there we go. For right now, what I want to do is I want to do the same thing here. And I have my cardio page. What I want to do is do this again for strength. So I'm going to go strength. I'm going to add a block WordPress post list. I'm going to add infinite scroll. I'm going to customize the post displayed. And now I'm going to find out what ID I have for strength. So I'm going to go back to my custom taxonomies on my WordPress site, click on strength. I'm going to look in the URL bar for the tag ID. It says 73, so I can put 73 in here. Again, I'm going to add it to the menu, and this time I'm going to do this correctly. Always hide this item is the one that I want to check, not custom page class. So I'm going to click save. And now you'll see, you're not going to see it here because we hid it from our menu, but we do have a cardio and a strength page, and we can actually link to those now from other pages. So without actually having them displayed in our tab bar, because our tab bar is, you know, too crowded if we had a bunch of links in there. So what we can do is link to the cardio and strength page from other pages, which is what we are going to do in the next video. So I'll see you then.